Welcome back to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I'm Andy Kim, and this video we're going to talk about the mechanism of the short selling. We're going to go through the basic of short selling, ABC. Okay? People say usually, it's not for the children. It's not for individual investors. 개미들은 가라. All right? Get away from here. It's not for you guys, small guys. Of course, there are some unbelievably capable individual investors who short sell and make tons of money. It's not 100% of ants or the individual investors are forbidden. No, they still do it. Okay, we're going to go there. So don't misunderstand it. But usually, like you and me, baby ain't nothing but individual investors, right? We're going to see that. Yeah. Basic concept of short selling works like this. Short sellers, right? A, B parties are their investors. A is the one who has the share. Let's say Samsung Electronics share. A as a Fidelity or BlackRock, they own this stock. Or let's say usually Samsung Life Insurance, right? The pension funds and life insurance funds, they own this stock. It has a long position of this stock, keep there for about 10 years or something, because the insurance contractors, right, like me and you, okay, we take a long contract with them so that they have to take a long position for a long time. And then every now and then the short sellers like B comes and say, hey, can I borrow Samsung Electronics stock from you? And here's our fee that you want to charge. Yeah, here you go. And then borrow it. And what do? Sell it. And then get the cash first in my pocket. And then wait. How long? I don't know. It could be weeks. It could be days. And then at some point, you buy back. Okay? Buy back. Hopefully, you want to buy back at cheaper price than the price that you sold. So that you take the price gap. Oh, that's my cash gain. Okay, and then bring back the share to the original lender, the Samsung Life Insurance Asset Manager or 국민연금 National Pension Fund. Thank you. And here you are, the same number of shares, right? So the short sellers, they are supposed to earn money when the price goes down, which means they will lose money if the price goes up in the meantime, right? A handful of questions you want to ask. Wait a minute. Is A stupid or something? Why does he lend the stock to the short sellers in the first place? Is he just injuring himself, right? Like crazy? Is he stupid or something? Not really, actually. There's a reason why they are willing to lend it. Because they have to keep the shares for a long time enough. And then let's say the stock is in a, it's not going anywhere, like going up and down, but not going upward too much. It has been that way for a long time, box peak kind of things. It's within a band, right? So if it's going to be like not changing that much, why don't we just lend it and then take the lending fees, short selling fees, and earn the money? That's a good way of earning money for the pension holders. National pension, they lend these stocks sometimes. It's not betraying the countrymen. It's about earning money for the pension holders, right? That's good. But politics, right? Politicians say bad things about this without any ground. So that National Pension Fund of Korea sometimes get forbidden to lend their stocks to the general public, which is kind of stupid. Anyway, and then for B, is the fee B pays very small so that they can easily, short sell anytime they want? Not really. The short selling fee is determined in the market by supply and demand. Supply and demand. Okay? So when there's many people trying to borrow the stock, the lending fee will be higher. Up to what level? Well, GameStop, I'm going to show you later. It jumped up to like 38% of the stock value or something. 38%. 38. if the stock is very special and short sold intensively. So the lenders also make a lot of money by doing that. It's not the short sellers are, what you picture in your mind. Nah. Didn't we say the market participants are very smart? Yeah, those guys are rationally and smartly making their own decisions. And then there's optimal outcome, lending and borrowing and short selling. Everything is done in that way. Can be cover the short position in 10 years. Covering short position means like closing the short position. Okay, covering the short position. I short sold it today and then buy it back and then the repay with the stock. That's short cover. Okay, how long can I take this short position? 1 day or 10 years? Really depends. But the thing is, at random time, anytime the lender comes to me and torture me like, bring back that share to me right now. It's like demand deposit, just like banks demand deposit. At random time, you should be able to buy it back and then repay it. It's not like a fixed term borrowing. It's not a fixed term borrowing. That's making the short selling a lot more troublesome. Okay? It's very risky. It's very dangerous, right? Why is it dangerous? At random time, imagine your lenders torture you and say, bring it back right now for million shares. What would you have to do? You have to rush into the market. 죽음의 선착순. It's like a dead or alive. You have to buy it back. And the demand of the stock skyrockets and the price skyrockets even further. So that's why it is very dangerous. As the price goes up, okay, short sellers lose money. Would the short sellers be always laughing like this, like a Schadenfreude? Schadenfreude means German language about you feel happy when the other guys are in misery. Shameful joy, right? And the thing is, what is it? This kind of guys, when the price goes up, they can lose money to the extreme. GameStop is a good example, right? This is a nice contrast against the situation when you take a long position. When you buy a stock, the maximum amount you can lose is 100% of what you invested. 100% loss, that's it. But when you short sold a stock, there's no limit. No, there's no limit. Yeah, no limit in loss. Unlimited loss. Do you want that? That's why short selling is very dangerous. Not for individual investors like you and me. Okay? Kind of things, right? So that's one thing I have to warn you. Yeah. And then are all kinds of short selling allowed by law? And the answer is no. Naked short selling is banned almost all around the world. Sometimes people say Singapore allows that, but I don't find that reason why. Go ahead and check it. It changes. The regulation changes, but usually they don't allow it. No way. Come on. Shorting without any borrowing, right? You first have to secure the lender. And then with that, notice, it could be a text messages. Will you lend me that stock to me? And katok. And then this guy say, katok, yes, okay. Then you can short sell it. Instantaneously you can do it. So first borrow and sell it with that promises. It's not like writing, this piece of paper and say, sign it, and then you go there and eat dinner together and then shake hands and then short sell it. No, we don't do it that way, right? So it moves very fast. The trouble is because it moves so fast, like katok in short sell, sometimes people miss it. And then just the short sell first and then let the person know. Can I borrow it? Yes, you do it. Subsequently. No, that's going to be outlawed. And then chakong, you have to be jail. You have to be careful. But people made mistakes like Goldman Sachs did a couple of years ago. So that's why people criticize these short sellers. Oh, there are some naked short selling cases down there. Yeah, you're right. There's a reason why. Anyway, are all kinds of short selling allowed? There's an uptick rule, okay, that says you have to place your short sell order at an uptick compared to the price that was transacted just before. Okay, we say tick by tick by tick by tick. Every second, if you did the stock investment, you must be familiar with this one. The price changes every second, every millisecond, and price. And the orders, there are some limit orders and market orders. You see that, and in short selling, you have to place the, limit orders at what price you want to sell it. Okay, and then the quote, sell quote, right? Bid ask quote. For your short selling, that has to be higher than the currently transacted price. Okay, at uptick you can do it. At downtick, no way. From here, once the price gets transacted, the stock gets transacted, you cannot place a short sell order lower than the current transacted price. And once you reach this price with a new tick, and then you can short sell at an uptick, then a downtick. And then let's say the transaction took place over here, you cannot place a downtick order for short selling. At this point, it is forbidden. But now you can, once the transaction happens for some other reasons, then you can short sell at a higher price, and higher price, and higher price like that. Uptick rule, well, is a kind of a mechanism to protect the price stability. Okay. Otherwise, we are afraid that short sellers could straight downtick. You can short sell it, and then the price will be miserably plunging down with a crash. That's the situation people are afraid of. That's why we have this uptick rule. But this is kind of this new research by Professor Kwan-Hui Lee in SNU, and then some other researches. Brand new researchers find out that the uptick rule is not that effective. Even for the stocks that does not have uptick rules, people don't try to crash it too much. Anyway, the price gets transacted. The stocks get transacted at a reasonably stable ranges anyway, whether you have uptick rules or not, right? Anyway, that's that. And then stock short sellers, they can lose infinite amount theoretically, because the price, there is no limit for price going up in theory. That means your loss will be infinite as well. So it's not for everybody. 감당하실 수 있겠습니까? In Korean terminology, right? So that's the limitation for the individual investors, I would say. Now, short sellers, there has been a lot of research questions about whether these short sellers are insider trading guys or they are smart money simply, which means insider trading means like 찰컹찰컹, oh my God, jail, right? Those outlaws and price manipulators, bad guys, Diablo short sellers, right? Inside traders, or are they trading, right? Are they trading with inside information, secretively, outlaw? Or are they trading based on publicly available information, and they are just simply smarter money, so that they are faster in processing those information? How would you test that and see the result? Here, Joey Engelberg and his group tested it in a nice and smooth way. They tried to build a portfolio using some trading rules with 4 different kinds of trading rules, right? A, the trading rule is blindly following the short sellers trading. Whatever stocks, in every point of time, every time, right? You look at the short interest of every stocks, thousands of stocks in the United States, and you can sort the stocks like quantitative trading, right? Sort the stocks in terms of short interest. The most heavily short sold stock, you short sell it. You're just following the short sellers movement, right? And then you look at the least short sold stocks, you don't short sell but take a long position. Okay? That is equivalent to following the short sellers, and as if you are those short sellers are insider trading guys, right? If majority of the short sellers are insider trading and that's why they make money, and you're going to make the best money or the biggest amount of money by doing this A kind of portfolio. Okay, just blindly following the short sellers movement, right? How much do you get? Well, over 2 years horizon or 1.5 year horizon, you get 40% of cumulative abnormal return with this kind of portfolio. Okay, positive amount of money. That's significant. And there is this means that there is an evidence that the short sellers are really trading based on the inside information. Unlawful, right? There are some guys like that, indeed. They don't deny it. But the interesting part is the next 3 panels, right? The 3 different portfolios. Most important is D, but B, what is that? Well, the trading strategy over here is forget about the short selling, but simply buy after good news and sell after bad news by the media. You know how to score those good news versus bad news by looking at their or text mining their languages, right? Positive versus negative. So you sort the stocks, thousands of it, based on their tone scores, and then take the topmost one, most critical number tone, right? Most negative one, sell it, short sell it, and then most lowest number, which is most positive, right? Buy it, right? That's, this return that you get, 20% positive return. Okay, it's half of what you do, what you follow, as you follow the short sellers blindly. This B, again, does not care about, you don't think about the short selling magnitude anyway. C is a mixture between these two a little bit. I should shut my mouth in 2 minutes or something. Okay, C is a trading strategy like this. After media news, regardless of whether positive news or negative news, don't think about the tones, right? Just care about whether there was a news announcement versus not in the news media, okay? And see whether the short interest of the stock is big enough, okay? Short interest of the stock is big enough, and then if it is big, okay, after a certain news and the short interest is big, which means a lot of short sellers were selling it after looking at the news, you also short sell it. On the other hand, if there's a news and then short interest is minimal, very small, then you buy that stock. Perhaps the short sellers recognize that it's a good news, right? Once you follow that, how much do you earn? 60% abnormal return, which is bigger than this one. Seems like instead of blindly following the short sellers movement, conditioning on the news announcements seem to give you better returns. Then what is D, panel D? For this, first classify the news into good news or bad news, or you have the tone score of critical news versus positive news, right? After bad media news, right, by the tone, sell the stock if the short interest was high, okay? Which means those stocks, the short sellers were short selling intensively after reading the media news. You're just mimicking their behavior of information processing. And on the other hand, what do? After good news, based on the language tone, right? Good news, and if you see a small number of short interest, right? Minimal short interest, buy that stock. Why? These must be the stocks those short sellers decided to buy it instead of sell it after reading the good news, right? So it's like conditioning on the news kind. Follow the short seller's decision. This D is about the short seller being smart money instead of insider trading. A is short selling as an insider trading instead of information processing. Okay, which one delivers the best return? Well, portfolio D delivers 180%. 180% abnormal return. Just conditioning on the news, quality, and then short selling. More than double the amount, almost like triple the amount of your money in 1.5 years' time. You could have earned that, right? So what does this tell? Those short sellers seem to be smarter money, okay? Instead of simply being the illegal insider traders or price manipulators, right? That's what this Joey Engelberg and his group of people, researchers, did and published in the JFE in 2012. So next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the short selling and the amount of short selling and then the things like that. So thanks for watching it.